Shout out to you folks for 900 subs. I'm gonna keep this brief, but this channel would not have made it this far without all of your support, so now on to my mom's personal horror stories. Hope you enjoy. Grandma's procedure. The dawn encounter.
The pre-dawn chill of October clung to the air like a shroud, seeping into my bones despite the thick wool of my coat. The clock on my phone glowed 4:30 a.m., a stark, unforgiving number that mocked my exhaustion. Grandma Saivi, as I like to call her, had a procedure scheduled for 6 a.m., an early start that demanded an equally early departure. The silence of the city at this hour was less peaceful and more ominous. A heavy blanket muffling the usual urban symphony, replaced by the distant, unsettling hum of unseen machinery and the occasional sharp bark of a lone dog. My breath plumed in the frigid air as I stepped out of the apartment building, the streetlights casting long, distorted shadows that danced with every gust of wind. The familiar block of 21st Street, usually bustling with life, was now a desolate canyon of brick and concrete. Every creak of the old building, every rustle of dry leaves skittering across the pavement amplified the sense of isolation. My destination, Savvy's place, felt miles away, each act against the encroaching darkness. It was then, as I rounded the corner, that the shadows solidified. 3 figures, indistinct at first, detached themselves from the deeper gloom beneath a flickering street lamp. They weren't the usual early morning stragglers or late-night revelers. Their posture, the way they moved with a predatory slowness, sent a jolt of primal fear through me. This block, notorious for its petty crime, often saw such figures, but they had always been like specters, never truly engaging. I was an invisible part of the urban landscape, a ghost among ghosts, until now.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
A voice rasped, thick with menace, cutting through the silence like a rusty blade. The tallest of the 3, a hulking silhouette, stepped forward, his face obscured by a low, pulled hoodie. The glint of something metallic in his hand caught the faint light, sending a fresh wave of ice through my veins. A knife. Not just a threat, but a promise of pain. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat echoing in my ears. My mind, usually sharp, became a whirlwind of terror and confusion. This wasn't happening. Not to me. Not now. Savvy needed me. The thought of her, frail and waiting, ignited a desperate spark within me. Panic threatened to consume me, but a strange, almost instinctual thought surfaced. Act the fool. It was a desperate gamble. A whisper from some forgotten corner of my survival instincts. And I did so. If you can think of the most random out-of-pocket thing you could say at this moment, then that's what I most likely said. I could have been reciting a curse or a Bible verse, but one thing was clear. It was working. The robbers, initially poised for confrontation, faltered. Their predatory stances softened, replaced by a mixture of bewilderment and unease. The hulking figure with the knife lowered his arm slightly, his head cocked, trying to decipher the bizarre spectacle before him. His companions exchanged nervous glances, their whispers a low murmur against the backdrop of my escalating performance. The leader's initial confusion morphed into something akin to disgust, then outright alarm. He took a step back, his eyes narrowing, not in anger, but in a desperate attempt to disengage. He clearly wanted no part of whatever unpredictable chaos I represented. The glint of the knife was gone, replaced by a visible desire to simply be anywhere else.
Forget it, man. She's crazy. Let's go. Not worth it.
And then, as if a spell had been broken, the hulking figure turned. He didn't run, but he moved with a sudden, decisive haste, his companions scrambling to follow. I watched, still flailing and babbling, as they practically sprinted towards the bus stop down the street. The sight of them, 3 hardened street criminals, practically fleeing from a woman pretending to be insane, was almost comical, if not for the lingering tremor in my hands. I maintained the act until I saw the distinctive blue and white of the 12 bus pull up, its brakes hissing, and watched them board, disappearing into the anonymous crowd. Only then, as the bus rumbled away, did the tension drain from my body, leaving me weak-kneed and gasping for air. The cold sweat that had plastered my clothes to my skin now felt like an icy embrace. My heart still pounded, but the terror had begun to recede, replaced by a profound sense of relief and a strange, unsettling triumph. I had faced the darkness of 21st Street and, through sheer, desperate lunacy, emerged unscathed. The path to Grandma's house, once fraught with peril, now seemed bathed in the faint, reassuring glow of the approaching dawn. I continued on my way, a little shaken, a lot wiser, and eternally grateful for the bizarre, unexpected lesson in survival the city had just taught me. Grandma Sivey's procedure could wait. I needed a moment to simply breathe.
The Rice Spirit. A childhood dare in Kingston.
My earliest memories are steeped in the humid, vibrant chaos of Kingston, Jamaica, specifically the tenement yard where I spent my childhood. For those unfamiliar, a tenement yard isn't just a collection of houses. It's a microcosm of life, a sprawling multi-unit community. Imagine a series of ground floor flats, not unlike the quaint, tightly packed homes you might find in older parts of Florida, but even more intimate, more communal. Every family had their own small space, but the courtyard, the shared washing lines, the communal kitchen, these were the true heart of our existence. It was a place teeming with life, laughter, and, as I would soon discover, shadows that stretched far beyond the reach of the tropical sun. In such close quarters, secrets were rare, but legends thrived, and among the most persistent, whispered with a mixture of fear and fascination by the older kids, was the tale of the rice water. They said, with eyes wide and voices hushed, that if you washed your face with the milky, starchy water left over from rinsing rice, you could see ghosts. Now, to an adult, this sounds like the stuff of childish fantasy, a harmless superstition. But to us, a gang of 5 mischievous, daring children, Ricardo, Elaine, Donovan, Larry, and yours truly, Valerie, it was a challenge, a tantalizing theory begging to be tested. We were at that age where the line between reality and the supernatural was deliciously blurred, and the thrill of the forbidden was an irresistible siren song. The dare was laid down one sweltering afternoon, the air thick with the scent of jasmine and impending mischief. Ricardo, ever the instigator, recounted the legend with dramatic flair, his eyes gleaming. Elaine, pragmatic but easily swayed, scoffed, yet a flicker of curiosity danced in her gaze. Donovan, quiet and observant, simply watched, his silence a tacit agreement. Larry, always the most impetuous, was already halfway convinced, and I, Valerie, the storyteller of the group, felt a shiver of excitement mixed with a nascent dread. We decided, with the reckless abandon only children possess, to throw caution to the wind. We would prove the legend true or false. Our plan was simple, yet fraught with the gravity of a sacred ritual. We would wait until after dark, when the courtyard transformed from a bustling hub into a realm of deep, impenetrable shadows. The rice water was easy enough to procure. Every household rinsed rice daily. We collected it in a chipped enamel bowl, the cloudy liquid shimmering faintly in the fading light, looking eerily like diluted moonlight. As dusk bled into night, painting the sky in bruised purples and inky blues, a palpable tension settled over our small group. The usual cacophony of the tenement yard had died down, replaced by the chirping of crickets and the distant rhythmic thrum of reggae music from my neighbor's radio. We crept out, our bare feet silent on the cool, damp earth of the courtyard, the bowl of rice water clutched between us like a forbidden treasure. The air grew heavy, thick with unspoken fears and the thrilling promise of the unknown. The darkness here wasn't just the absence of light. It felt like a living, breathing entity, pressing in on us from all sides. One by one, we dipped our hands into the cool, viscous water, splashing it onto our faces. The sensation was strange, a sticky film clinging to our skin, a faint, earthy scent rising from it. We giggled nervously, half expecting nothing, half dreading everything. We then huddled together, hiding behind the communal washroom, our hearts thumping a frantic rhythm against our ribs. The real test, we knew, was to look into the darkest place we knew, the cavernous, pitch-black space beneath the oldest house in the yard. It was raised high on stilts, a shadowy maw that swallowed light and sound, a place we had always instinctively avoided. With bated breath, we crawled on our bellies, inching towards the gaping darkness. The ground beneath us was cold and gritty, the air thick with the smell of damp earth and something else, something ancient and stagnant. We peered into the void, our eyes straining, trying to pierce the absolute blackness. For a long moment, there was nothing but the oppressive dark, the sound of our own ragged breathing, and the frantic pounding of our hearts. Just as doubt began to creep in, a collective gasp escaped our lips. They were there. Not just shadows, but forms. Headless figures, draped in what appeared to be tattered, spectral white garments swaying almost imperceptibly in the Stygian gloom. Their movements were slow, ethereal, like seaweed undulating in an unseen current. And then the whispers began. Not loud, not harsh, but soft, insidious, slithering into our minds like cold tendrils.
Come to me, Pitney. Come to me, Pitney.
Come to me, my children. The words, spoken in a dialect that resonated deep within our Jamaican souls, were not just sounds. They were an invitation, a chilling summons. We were paralyzed, frozen in a tableau of pure, unadulterated terror. Our eyes, now seemingly attuned to the spectral plane by the rice water, saw every horrifying detail. The way the white garments seemed to absorb the little light. The unnerving, headless torsos that tilted as if listening, the slow, beckoning gestures of their unseen hands. All of us were locked in silent horror, our bodies rigid, our minds screaming. All of us, that is, except Larry. He was different. His eyes, usually bright with mischief, were now vacant, glazed over, fixed on the swaying figures. A slow, almost imperceptible smile began to spread across his face, a smile utterly devoid of warmth or recognition. Then he started to move. An inch. Another. He was inching closer, drawn by the spectral lullaby, by the chilling invitation. It was as if he was bewitched, possessed by an unseen force, his will supplanted by theirs.
Larry, no.
Ricardo finally found his voice, a raw, desperate cry that tore through the silence. Elaine and Donovan, jolted from their stupor, lunged forward, grabbing Larry's arms, pulling him back with all their might. He resisted, not violently, but with a strange, unnatural strength, his eyes still fixed on the headless entities, a faint, almost imperceptible hum emanating from his throat. We screamed his name, shook him, pleaded with him, our voices cracking with terror and desperation. The whispers from beneath the house seemed to intensify, growing more insistent, more seductive. Finally, with a jolt that felt like an electric shock, Larry blinked. The vacant look vanished, replaced by wide, terrified eyes. He let out a piercing shriek, a sound that echoed our own unspoken horror, and then, as one, we booked it. We scrambled out from under the house, our legs pumping, our lungs burning, not daring to look back. The sounds of our frantic escape mingled with the chilling whispers that seemed to follow us, urging us back into the darkness. We didn't stop until we reached a patch of relative safety, a small, overgrown corner of the yard illuminated by the faint glow of a distant street lamp. We collapsed in a heap, gasping for air, our bodies trembling uncontrollably. We were scared, yes, but also cold, despite the tropical night, and drenched in a clammy sweat that had nothing to do with exertion. The sticky residue of the rice water still clung to our faces, a chilling reminder of what we had seen. Our parents' homes weren't far, beacons of warmth and normalcy in a world that had suddenly become terrifyingly abnormal. We ran into the light, bursting through doors, our faces pale, our eyes wide with unspeakable horrors. When questioned, we stammered out some hastily concocted excuse, a stray dog, a sudden fright, anything to avoid revealing the truth. And thankfully, in their weary, adult way, they accepted it. They didn't press, didn't pry, perhaps too tired to delve into the fantastical fears of children. But the lesson was etched into our souls, a chilling reminder that some things are best left undisturbed. The rice water, the headless figures, the insidious whispers, they became a shared unspoken trauma, a secret pact forged in fear. We never spoke of it again, not to each other, and certainly not to any adult. But every time the sun set and the shadows lengthened in the tenement yard, a shiver would run down my spine, a silent acknowledgement of the thin veil between our world and the one that whispers, "Come to my picnic." I learned my lesson all right. Some theories are better left untested, some legends better left as just that, legends.
Okay, and we're almost caught up with all the specials I have to catch up on. Next is the 1000 sub special, and that one's gonna be a little different. Just wait and see. But for now, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe for more, and hit the notification bell for new uploads. Now, with that out of the way, we're always watching.